Now, let us start the new topic, rating life or Elton life. Is the one of the most important topic of the bearing. So, let's just start. The waiting life of a group of bearing is number of revolutions that 90% of group of bearing will complete or exceed before the first evidence of failure, which means that when a bearing will complete its 90% of the revolution before the first evidence of failure, it is called the Elton life or the minimum life. In case of L50 life, or we can say the average life, we know that it is the 50% of the group of bearing which will complete or exceed the first evidence of failure before failure. Now we can look the graph which shows that how L10 life and L50 life is related. You can see at L10 life 90% of the bearing will complete a revolution, and in L50 life 50% of the bearing will complete its revolution. Now we come to next topic, dynamic load carrying capacity. Dynamic load carrying capacity is defined as the consistent stationary radial load which a group of identical bearing with stationary outer race can withstand Elton life or 10 to the power 6 revolution of the inner race. As usual, 90% of bearing will complete or exceed before the failure, and C will be the 10 to the power 6 inner life revolutions. Now we go to your topic, equivalent dynamic load. What is equivalent dynamic load? Constant radial load is the radial in the radial bearing towards the load in thrust bearing gives some same life with ideal load applied. So now we look at the equation, P equals to x VFR y plus y FA. It means P is the equivalent dynamic loading, x is the radial factor, and y is the axial factor. FR is the radial load and FA is the axial load, and the KE is load factor, load service factor. This helps in finding the equivalent dynamic load, which is the very important factor in load life relationship. In the load life relationship, we find Elton life, and Elton life is found Elton equals to C by P. C is our dynamic, P is a dynamic load relation, and C is our dynamic load. Now we put the value of P and we can calculate L10. Now we have some rules, like when we take A equals to 3 in case of ball bearing, and we take A equals to 10 by 3 in case of roll bearing. By this we can calculate L10 life. Now there is one more formula or relationship between L10H and L10. L10 is H is the rating of the bearing which is generally given in the questions, or we can found in a table. Now L10 equals to 60 N L10H upon 10 to the power 6. This helps in finding L10, and these two formulas are one of the most important formulas to find the relationship between the L10 and L10H. Now for finding the now by FA by C naught we calculate E, and by E we take the ratio of FA by FR, and we check whether the E is greater or less than FA by FR. By this we will able to find the X and Y by looking into design data book, and by taking the value of X and Y by design data book. For the example Bhandari, we will put the value of X and Y in the equation, and then we will find the P, and after P we can easily find Elton life by the formula C by P to the power 8, and thus we will get our desired value.